Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a pretty incredible story called The Burden of Stones and the Grace of Letting Go. Let's jump right in. So, picture this. The sun is just rising over the mountains, and a guy named Elias is hiking up a steep trail alongside an old monk. Elias is carrying this seriously heavy backpack, but it's filled with invisible stones, basically all of his past traumas. With every single step up that mountain, the bag feels crushing. But as the morning sun lights up the path, it hits him. A profound truth. The weight he is carrying isn't his destiny at all. It is entirely his decision. Eventually, they hit this small wooden bridge crossing a rushing, crystal-clear mountain river. And the monk just stops. He points down at the water and asks Elias a remarkably simple question. Do you know why this river is so clear? I mean, think about that for a second. Why is it so transparent? Elias, standing there on the bridge, just kind of shakes his head. Well, the monk smiles and gives this beautiful answer. He says it's because the river never holds on to yesterday's water. Every single moment it lets go just so something new can flow in. Then he looks Elias dead in the eye and says, "Your heart was made to work the exact same way." Just think about the power of that imagery. Our hearts are literally designed to let go of yesterday's burdens, to make room for the fresh currents of today. Okay, so what happens next? The monk tells Elias to unpack his bag. One by one, Elias pulls out these stones and sets them on the bridge. But these represent some really heavy stuff. A childhood betrayal, a failed business, broken friendships, missed opportunities, painful words, deep guilt. Before long, the entire bridge is covered. Honestly, looking at this list, these are the highly relatable, invisible weights that almost all of us carry around every day, right? The monk tells him to pick one up. Elias grabs the smallest one. A time a childhood friend betrayed him. And the monk asks, if he walked toward you today, would carrying this stone punish him? Elias just stares at it. It's such a wake-up call. Holding on to that resentment literally does zero damage to the guy who wronged him. Elias quietly says, no. Then comes the real gut-punch follow-up question from the monk. So, who has been carrying the pain all these years? And Elias has to admit, I have. The monk just nods. Guys, this is a massive psychological shift in perspective. Elias realizes he has been doing all the heavy lifting, acting as the warden of his very own emotional prison. And right here is where we get a totally new definition of forgiveness. It is absolutely not about saying what happened was okay or acceptable. It wasn't. True forgiveness is refusing to let yesterday continue stealing from your today. It's about freeing yourself from the ongoing tax that the past is constantly trying to collect on your present happiness. So, with shaking hands, Elias looks out at that rushing river, takes a massive breath, and lobs that first stone right into the water. Splash! The ripples spread out across the clear water, and then they're just gone, swept away. He literally let the river take yesterday's water. Now, obviously, nothing external actually changed. The mountains didn't move, the sky was exactly the same. But internally, he felt lighter. Standing there on those wooden planks, Elias takes his first real, free breath in years. Okay, moving on to the second stone, his failed business. Elias grips it and admits, look, this one's a lot harder. I still feel like a failure. So the monk casually picks up a dry leaf, drops it into the rushing water, and watches the current sweep it away. He turns to Elias and asks, does the river stop flowing just because one leaf falls into it? Elias says, no, of course not. And the monk fires back, then why have you allowed one failure to stop your entire life? Boom. What a realization. Yes, his business failed once, years ago, but he had been letting that one single isolated dry leaf dam up the entire river of his potential every single year that followed. You can actually see a smile creeping onto Elias's face now. He tosses that heavy, nagging weight of perceived failure right into the current. Splash. And once again, that suffocating weight lifts right off his shoulders. He is finally letting his river flow. As they keep hiking into the afternoon, you can track this amazing emotional evolution. By hour 8, the backpack on his back hasn't magically disappeared. He is still carrying a bag, but the actual nature of the weight has fundamentally transformed over the course of the day. Here's the crucial difference. He wasn't carrying the raw pain of those memories anymore. He had essentially traded in the heavy, unedited burden of his past for something entirely different. something incredibly light and protective. He was carrying wisdom. The monk looks at Elias with so much pride and drops this absolute gem of a takeaway. Wise people don't carry every experience. They carry the lesson and leave the burden behind. I mean, that is just a brilliant, actionable psychological truth. You really don't have to haul a giant rock around just to remember not to trip over it. Grab the lesson, drop the rock, and keep walking. Fast forward to sunset. They finally reach the absolute highest cliff, looking out over this vast, endless valley below them. The monk gets quiet, points to the bag, and says, "One stone left. The heaviest. Your father." Elias just freezes. His hands start shaking, tears well up in his eyes. This is it. The ultimate, terrifying hurdle. The monk gently puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Tomorrow you must decide whether you will spend the rest of your life carrying that stone or finally set yourself free." Notice how he doesn't force it? He knows that true, deep emotional healing isn't a one-and-done deal. It requires brave, active, and honestly, really difficult choices every single day. Elias is left staring at that final stone, fully aware that the hardest part of his journey is still ahead. And honestly, it makes you look at your own life, doesn't it? Think about that invisible backpack you haul to work, into your relationships, or to your pillow every night. What is your heaviest stone? Will you spend the rest of your life carrying it, or finally set yourself free? The choice, just like the river, is entirely up to you. We'll pick this up in part 4.